Hi, everybody. Good evening. This is Tammy with the Forgiveness Connection coming to you for your episode number 83 of Forgiveness on the Fly. Remember, we're in a 5-part series right now, and we're talking about the different types of abuse. So a couple of nights ago, we talked about physical abuse and the forgiveness statements to help you through physical abuse situations in your life. Then last night we talked about sexual abuse, and we actually showed you the magnet placement on the head that we use in the office when we work with the trauma stuff and the disassociation. Tonight we're actually going to talk about emotional abuse, which is also termed psychological abuse. So I actually wrote the definition down because I wasn't quite sure what all of that would entail. So the dictionary says that emotional or psychological abuse is characterized by a person subjecting or exposing another person to behavior that includes bullying, gaslighting, and an imbalance of power and control. And that leads the other person to have symptoms of trauma, anxiety, chronic depression, and PTSD symptoms. So emotional abuse is a big deal, guys. Anybody can be the victim of emotional abuse. So here's your disclaimer. If you are in an emotionally abusive relationship right now, this session, these statements might be hard to listen to. They may trigger you to feel some kind of way because it's something you're dealing with currently. So you may want to call a trusted friend. You may want to watch the episode later. You may want to call a pastor or a counselor or a family member that can sit with you and walk through these statements with you to help you try to come up with a plan to get yourself safe and to get yourself healthy and happy again. So let's go ahead and begin with some statements I might do with a client that comes in to the office and they're dealing with an emotionally or psychologically abusive relationship, whether that's a current one or one from the past. I forgive myself for believing everything they say is true. Deep breath in. I forgive that person for causing me to question my own reality and my own mental sanity. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for allowing him or her to treat me this way. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for believing there's something wrong with me that this person would treat me this way. And I have to be subject to their treatment because I can't lose this relationship. Deep breath in. I forgive the other person for beating me down repeatedly with their negative words and name calling and judgment of my actions and making me feel like it's all my fault. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for not being able to fight back, for just believing their words, for starting to doubt myself, for secluding myself and going inward as a way of just not feeling or exposing myself to the public pain of letting anybody else know what's happening with me. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for believing it's always going to be this way, and I can't. I'm not strong enough to fight back. I'm not strong enough to walk away. I'm not strong enough to gain my own emotional power and control back from this person. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for being afraid of him or her, for believing that if I fight back verbally, that they'll hit me or hurt my kids or take away the money that they help, support this household with. I forgive myself for feeling trapped. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for liking their family and believing their family is good and for believing I'd lose all of them if I stand up to this person and their name calling and abuse and words and control of every aspect of my life. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for believing this cannot change in my life, and I have to feel stuck and overwhelmed and depressed and anxious about how to move on or how to survive. Deep breath in. I ask the other person to forgive me for trying to take my power back, for listening to this video, for asking somebody for help, for telling their mom, or reaching out to a friend or a counselor and outing their horrible behavior in an attempt to save this relationship, in an attempt to make them stop, and in a cry for help for their soul. Deep breath in. I ask the other person to forgive me for leaving, for stopping, for not putting up with it anymore, for deciding I'm worth more than what they think and the way their actions are treating me. Deep breath in. I call up all of the pain, all of the sadness, all of the embarrassment, all of the shame out of every cell of my mind, body, and spirit, and I release it all to God. And I pray God's divine healing over the situation. God's divine healing doesn't mean I go back to the abuser. God's divine healing means I'm provided for, even though the abuser has shut me out and cut off all finances and cut off all contact. And I get to be okay knowing I picked God first, and that's the right decision. Deep breath in. I forgive the court for not recognizing financial abuse and sometimes not even recognizing emotional abuse, and for only having certain categories that are physical or a cheating statute, right? For being able to get away, get help, and escape these abusive relationships. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for so easily giving up my power and control in the beginning because all I wanted was love. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for believing them paying attention to me 24/7, watching my every move, controlling everything about my life meant love. It did not. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself taking my own power and control back. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself letting go of that person in my life and moving on. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself having an opinion on everything. I love and accept myself expressing my opinion on everything. I love and accept myself not having to people please just to get someone to show up in my life that loves me. Deep breath in. Without this pattern, I'm free. I'm fully standing in my own power and control, and I'm not attracting somebody that wants to control me. I'm saying no. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. I'm saying no. You don't get to decide everything about me because I get to decide everything about me, and I'm the boss of me. Deep breath in. Without this pattern, I'm free to be in my own power, to be connected to God's power vertically, not human power horizontally. I connect with divine. And that helps me stay emotionally stable and secure, even if a chaotic energy comes into my life. I can say no. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for all the times in the past I acted like I didn't have an opinion on something just to get the person in my life. I don't know where that pattern comes from, but let's get rid of that pattern today, because that's not a healthy pattern for us. Maybe it's our dads leaving. Maybe it's old abusive relationships from the past. Maybe it's just we're people pleasers and we want people to be happy with us. Whatever relationship it is, we pray God's love and mercy over that old unhealthy pattern so we can step into a space of a new healthy pattern in our current life. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself letting go. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself letting go of emotional power and control that isn't mine to hold. Everybody has their own emotional stability that God's given them, and they're not supposed to give that to another human. We need it to stand steady as people come and go from our lives. Not everybody stays forever, and we get to be okay whether people decide to stay or go. And we don't have to acquiesce to emotional control or psychological abuse in order to get people to stay in our lives. We are perfectly good enough and happy enough and healthy enough to not deserve abuse. Deep breath in. Without this pattern, I'm free to step into the life that God has for me. I can forgive the abuser. I can forgive him for the pain in his past. It's explainable, definitely not excusable. I can forgive myself for letting him step into a space that didn't belong to him, that belonged to me, and that belonged to God. And I now know better than to let somebody else try to disrupt my divine connection again. No relationship is worth that. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself, even if I'm afraid I'll somehow find another controlling, emotional, abusive relationship. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself, even if I'm afraid this person will still try to control me. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself, even if I have to lose every piece of that relationship, every piece of his family, her family, and every piece of the last 3 years of my life. I still get to be okay moving on. Deep breath in. And I love and accept myself stepping into a new space where instead of starting out a relationship, doing all the things for my side and all the things for their side, I can actually sit back and watch people's behavior, and I can let them show me who they are through actions, not just words, not just unmet promises. And I can watch and see, and that will show me everything I need to know to say a yes or say a big no. Deep breath in. One more deep breath in, guys. Okay, everybody, that's it for your affirmations for tonight. Those were your affirmations for dealing with emotional, psychological abuse. There were many directions we could have gone. I'll probably likely do another one in the future on bullying and maybe even narcissism. This was a big piece of it. It's about the control. It's about the imbalance. So this is Tammy from the Forgiveness Connection, reminding that forgiveness truly is the key to total healing in your life. Please stay tuned for another episode tomorrow night of Forgiveness on the Fly. Have a great evening. Bye.